everyone. Remember this video? These were sent to me by my friend Tommy. So I joked that I'm gonna make this my birthday cake this year. Maybe I'll do it, we'll see. My birthday is just around the corner and I am gonna make this cake. I threatened to do it and I'm doing it. At first I thought I would just make a box cake and decorate it in this amazing way, but I decided I'm gonna make the actual cake from the cookbook itself. This cake has a little bit of an unusual flavor combination, to me at least. The main flavorings are orange and almond, but there's also 3/4 of a cup of finely chopped peanuts in this cake. So I don't know that I've ever tasted anything quite like this. This is gonna be quite the process, so we'd better get started. I'm gonna start with the dry ingredients. Cake flour, baking powder, salt, and sugar. Sugar is something that I'm used to adding to the wet ingredients. So again, this cake is a little bit unusual to me. It's baked in a tube pan, even though it's not really an egg leavened cake. Brand new box of cake flour, because I don't use it very often. 2 3/4 cups of cake flour. Whenever I measure anything out of a box, it just gets all over the place. I feel like we need to tell companies to put a pour spout in these boxes. We've got a spring blossom bowl today because spring has sprung. I don't know, maybe not where you are, but where I am, it sure has. Let's see how many of these ingredients I can get in my shirt today. 2 teaspoons of double acting baking powder. 1, 2. 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. 1 1/2. Finally, 1 3/4 cup sugar. Well, I'm gonna just whisk this a little bit to combine. I'm still kind of weirded out that this has sugar in the dry ingredients. I'm sure there's a reason. Stir shortening just to soften. So this cake uses vegetable shortening, anything to use up that very fancy Whole Foods shortening that I had to buy. But this is also why I prefer using, if I have to use shortening, I like to use Crisco sticks because they're so much easier to measure. Stirring to soften. Sift in dry ingredients. This is not looking good, but okay. Add milk and extract and mix until flour is dampened. So I have my milk, 3/4 of a cup, a teaspoon of orange extract. So we've got a teaspoon of orange, 1 teaspoon of almond. It smells delicious, like a wedding cake. So I need to beat this for 2 minutes. We're gonna scrape it down. Add eggs and yolk and beat 1 minute longer. So we have 3 whole eggs. Now we're gonna attempt a yolk. I did break a yolk at breakfast this morning. I think I did it. There we go. So I have to beat this for 1 more minute. All right, time for the tube pan. So I have a 9-inch aluminum tube pan. Mine happens to have a removable bottom. I have greased this with some vegetable shortening and then also lined it with parchment paper and greased it again so that my cake should come out okay. Does not seem like the most batter I've ever seen for the cake this size, but okay. That baking powder better do some magic. So I have to bake this at 375 degrees for 1 hour, and then I have to let it cool completely. So like I said, this is gonna be a process. Cake is out of the oven, cooling on the counter. So now it's time to make the icing. We're just gonna make a basic butter frosting. 1/2 cup of very soft butter. Woo! And a pinch of salt. I'm sorry, a dash of salt. Is a dash different from a pinch? We're just gonna do a little bit. Cream butter with salt. This recipe takes a full pound of powdered sugar. I just bought a new bag so that I wouldn't have to measure anything. You know how much I love to measure powdered sugar. Add part of the sugar gradually, blending after each addition. I wanted to get the box of powdered sugar, but my store didn't have it, so I got the bag of powdered sugar. It just says part of the sugar. It doesn't say how much. When you're working with something like powdered sugar or flour, definitely remember to start on a slow speed or else you're just gonna have an explosion on your hands. I'm gonna go ahead and alternate the sugar and the milk until everything starts to come together. So I have 5 tablespoons of room temperature milk that I'm using. Cake is cooled. Icing is made. Now we come to the fun part, decorating. This is what I'm going for. One cake update, I did forget to put the peanuts in the cake, so there will be no peanut flavor, and now I just have 3/4 of a cup of crushed peanuts lying around. My cake is definitely not this tall. I don't know what they did. I don't know what I did. I cannot find my cake stand, so I'm very well prepared for all of this. I put the cake on a platter, but before I did that, I put a few pieces of parchment paper underneath, just sort of in an attempt to keep things a little bit neater when I'm done decorating the cake. So once you're done icing and decorating, you can kind of take these out. It should leave you with a nicer edge around the bottom. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, how am I gonna get all of these like candies and cookies and things on here if my cake isn't very tall? I cannot recommend enough offset spatulas for this. You know I love them. This one is just like a Wilton. However, they are still selling these at the Dollar Tree. So run into your Dollar Tree. They have this style with the point, and then they have this style that's rounded. And I think they work just as well as the more expensive versions. Okay, let's pray. I mean, oh wow, I'm really doing well. One good thing about my cake not being very tall, I don't think this made enough icing for like a taller cake. Well, we're gonna just scrape you right up and put you on the side. I did that on purpose. I had to take a little bit of the icing out and dye some of it pink, and you can see that my pink is not quite as pleasant. Oh, the thumbnail for this is gonna be hilarious. I'm not gonna win awards for my cake decorating abilities. Proven that time and time again on this channel. If you didn't know that, that means that you haven't watched my other cake videos, and I will link a few of those in the description down below. I'm not really completely sure as to why this needed to be in a tube pan either. Why a tube pan? Was it because they wanted that shape for the cake, or was it something about this cake that was like, oh, this has to be baked in a tube pan? Oh, the sides of this are not gonna be good. Not attractive. If I had my cake stand and like a lazy Susan, I think I would be doing better than I am. So the book says like, gives no direction really on how to do this. They're just like, you're a housewife in the 50s, you know how the basics of icing a cake, and you have all of the proper equipment. You're gonna do great. This is what we got so far. It's a real short cake. I'm just gonna mark with my spatula here. So that's 2, that's 4, I think we're there almost. So I'm filling like every other one with pink, and then I'm putting some like pink bunting on the side. Hello? And I know that the comments are gonna be like, here's what you should have done. Listen, I'm not making this cake again. While I appreciate your advice, it's not happening. This is the kind of quality you can expect from my content. You know what, I'm just gonna do my little spots here so I don't get mixed up and like put pink icing in the wrong place. Kind of looks like a life preserver right now. Or like a beach ball or something. This is supposed to look like a carousel. It doesn't. If there are any kids watching this, please don't ask your parents to make this for you. Okay, so I'm gonna just pretend I know what I'm doing with these little like bannery bunting things. Those go all the way around the cake. Like at the bottom of each wedge, you have to make a little bunting. You don't have to, but I'm gonna do it. Oh, no, please, please. Also, their icing is very glossy. It makes me think that they didn't actually use buttercream frosting. It makes me think that they used like something that's more meringue based than this, because mine is not glossy. Nope. Oh no. So when I was a kid, when my mom would make a cake, and if there was like leftover icing from the cake, we would spread it between graham crackers and eat them. Yeah, if you've not tried this, like definitely do, because it is a real treat. They're like, this is such an easy cake. I mean, really, I think actually a piping bag might have been beneficial here, just to make some lines to follow, but they claim that there's like no piping in this. We're just gonna move on now. I bought some Lifesavers, I bought the regular hard candies, and I bought the gummies. And I only got like 3 red ones in the entire package. I'm gonna be mixing some colors here. Do I even have enough? I probably don't. Orange and red, and I'll figure it out. Hold on. Green. We're doing green. Oh, it's gonna look weird. This cake already looks weird. The picture has the candles in the middle of each Lifesaver. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Maybe. We'll see. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm gonna attempt to take these guys out. I think it's gonna bring a lot of icing with it. You know what? That's life. That's what we got. You know, we're out here doing our best, and I applaud everyone. You're all doing great, okay? You're all doing great. Oh, this cake looks nuts. So I got these little like peppermint sticks. I don't know how these are gonna work. Can I like break them? We're gonna try breaking them. I think it's gonna work better. Well, that was really uneven. So you know what? This is just the carousel going up and down. I'm gonna run out of room for these scallops, so we're not doing them. I do, however, have animal cookies. Whoa! It was very hard for me not to eat all of these while I was waiting to do this video. Can I do anything else? I've just run out of real estate on this cake. Like, look at it. This cake versus this cake. This cake's winning for sure, but you know, this has its charms. I guess I could put candles in it. You know, I'm gonna do these a little differently since I couldn't really accomplish exactly what this cake looked like. Okay, yes, we're gonna light these. Oh, it's magical! I think that really sets it off. Here it is. I don't wanna cut into it yet. I'm not gonna cut into it yet. I'm just gonna enjoy it the way it is for now because I worked really hard even though it doesn't look perfect. I made it, kind of. I kind of made this cake. I did my best. You know, with some practice I could probably get a little better, but let's be honest, I'm not making this again. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red button below. I post content related to food, vintage cookbooks, and retro recipes every single week. Thank you again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!